Remember the Dark Knight trilogy? Serious, realistic, stoic, dark, giving an interesting perception on the concept of Bruce Wayne and dealing with being the Batman, fighting numerous enemies like Ra's al Ghul, Joker, and Bane, having to face the constant tribulations of being a hero while also losing the ones you love, while meeting new ones and then losing them too. It was the struggle that Bruce Wayne had to face being the Caped Crusader and protecting an entire city from crime, all because of the death of his parents. This was the Dark Knight trilogy. Now, if we were to bring a movie like that, say the Dark Knight trilogy was never made until after the Avengers. Say that the Dark Knight trilogy had never come to pass until after the Avengers movie went by. Say that the Dark Knight trilogy was never even on the radar or even thought of until 2014. And let's also say that the Dark Knight trilogy was the quote-unquote beginning of DC's cinematic universe. What reaction do you think critics and the general audience would have? Do you think it would be positive, or do you think it would be negative? How would the critics react to it? What would their score be? And another question, would it be panned like Superman was panned by humans in Batman v Superman? Would they hate it? Would they judge it? And would they prosecute it? Because that is the question I am asking right now in this post-Marvel world where apparently now every superhero movie is supposed to be hilarious and it's supposed to make you laugh and have a lot of humor while having explosions, action, and all that. To the point where superhero movies don't even need a compelling story anymore. Just show them blowing shit up and making them laugh. That's all superhero movies are now, apparently, to people. Just another form of comedy with action in it. And that's what it seems to be in this post-Marvel world for some people, for critics, and for most of the viewing majority. And in all honesty, it makes me wonder how much critics do have a hold on the basic viewership of like moviegoers. In my last video, I said, and I made some points about my favorite phases from Marvel's cinematic universe. I said that. However, that doesn't mean that I don't, judge everything that they do. Because I do. Phase 1 was a great phase, a great start off to the cinematic universe. I mentioned that. The second phase, however, that's where things started to slowly begin to disintegrate, you could say. And with the second phase, it felt like it was so disjointed, not as funny as the first phase, and it feels like the jokes are just coming off as, well, dull. That being said, it seems that every superhero movie can sell millions with just straight up fun and no real huge substance put into it. The only real substance that I've seen in Marvel movies of Phase 2 has been Captain America Winter Soldier. And that dealt with a more realistic and serious propaganda issue. So, it's not like, I just don't know how to put it though. I just feel like most of Marvel movies have been going on and have been writing this very clean, straight line of just humor and explosions. The basic formula to every action American movie. And it feels like Marvel is riding this high really hard, especially in their recent movies where it feels like they're not even trying anymore. Where it feels like just put these characters in front of the screen and have them fight each other, and that's all you need. That's what I felt this post Marvel world has come to. Because almost every Marvel movie after Phase 1 feels exactly the same. The same kind of comedy, the same brand of humor, the same kind of action, explosions. There's the love interest who really serves no purpose other than being the love interest. It just feels so disconjointed, if that's a word. Disjointed, that's a better word. It feels disjointed and just not all there to me. Not since Phase 1. So, since I feel that way, I obviously, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who feels this way. I'm sure I'm not the only one who's talking about this sort of strange shit that Marvel's been going through. But another thing is, why does it feel like every DC movie that has the potential to be good, and they are good, I'm not going to sit here and say they're not, because I'm not going to let other people think for me. I think they're good. So what? That's just how it is. So with that being said, why does it feel like DC's just getting snuffed out despite the fact that they're making a lot of bank, they're doing well for themselves, they're adding diversity, they're adding a lot of characters, they're giving new actors their own time to shine, and they're really doing well for themselves. So why does it feel like people are just saying that they are failing and that they're in trouble? My reason for that is simple. I think it has more to do with, not a lot of people being behind DC because of the whole early critics review thing. What I mean by this is that it feels like critics have a very strong hand over the viewership of a lot of people, to the point where now viewers feel like they can't watch a movie for themselves and instead have to have critics do the thinking for them. Not saying this is for everybody, but it's for most likely a large majority of people. And that's nothing new. That's happened before. That's happened with plenty of times with old movies that were panned by critics as being horrible, but were loved a lot by fans. One of the most biggest examples is Fight Club. Back when that movie first came out, it was panned for getting terrible reviews. However, it later ended up becoming one of the most talked about cult classic movies ever. So, who knows? Maybe with time it'll happen with the DC movies. Maybe not. Who knows? But it feels like the critics are the ones who are controlling most of the viewership of people and telling them, hey, you should definitely watch this movie instead of this DC movie. But they're like, I don't know, maybe I should watch a DC movie because it looks really compelling and all. But it's like, oh no, but it won't make you laugh, and it has this and that in it. It has a black guy using guns and a stereotype of a Japanese girl being a samurai. To this day, that is still the worst critic review I have ever seen for Suicide Squad. And plus, Vanity Fair was the one who said something about the black guy with guns, I think. Vanity Fair, one of them. But either way, it's terrible. Now, don't think I'm just going to go ahead and not say that Warner Brothers has no hand in all this stuff going on. Because, trust me, they do. After that marketing stunt with Batman v Superman in the second trailer, after revealing Doomsday, that was probably a sign to me that says they gotta work better on their trailers. And they gotta work better on just a few other things too. Nothing major in my opinion, but just a few other things. But yeah, that was a small part of this. I don't consider myself a critic. I don't like telling people what they should and shouldn't watch. See, I'm the type of person who likes to just watch movies for movies and then just talk about them. Because I like to do that. I like to have fun watching movies. I'll admit, I'm not as strict as most movie critics are with movies. I tend to like to see the good in movies rather than the bad. Which is why I give a lot of movies like 7 out of 10s, 8 out of 10s, and all that. Because I'm just a nice guy like that. I like watching movies for their different take on things. So, I just don't consider myself a critic. And I'm certainly not going to critique people. I'm not going to critique movies harshly, nor am I going to critique people's taste on what movies they want to and want not to watch. But what I am saying is that it feels like everyone expects a superhero movie to be funny. And it feels like that's all it has to be now. That's all it needs to succeed. Now every serious movie... God, I'm sorry, hiccups. But, now it feels like every serious movie is going to end up being... Every serious superhero movie is going to end up being pushed into the same level that DC is, solely because it's a serious superhero movie. It's pathetic, it's wrong, but it's probably gonna stay until the Marvel Cinematic Universe ends. And it's kind of just sad that it has to be like this. Most likely this is not going to be changing anytime soon. And for some of us who are interested in seeing what DC has to offer and is liking it so far, we'll just have to get used to this. This is just going to have to be one of the things we get used to until, things get better. Only time will tell. But that's all I have to say in this video. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys later.